So thank you for coming, everyone. It's really nice to see you all. This week we're going to be doing work around the feet, the legs, the hips, so already earthy grounding work, just to really drop us down more in connection with the earth, with our sense of security, of safety, of trust, of just really trying to find that connection back into the earth. Because at the minute I really feel like we're all up in our heads. There's a lot of information coming at us from all different directions. There's a lot of different information to process all the time, and it's coming in quite strongly into the head, and then we're trying to sit with it in the heart and feel into it. There's a lot of fear as well. So just allowing ourselves to drop down into our root, into our sense of grounding, our support, our holding for ourselves, and being able to walk forward more consciously, more strong and powerfully, and just allowing this to kind of let us feel a bit more held. Then we can feel a bit more secure, we can feel a little bit more stable, and perfect, and not so much up in the head. So I really feel like this is something that we can just practice on a daily basis, and we can feel a bit more grounded and in touch with nature. So we're going to start just with a little meditation. So you can either lay down or you can come to a seat, whatever feels more comfortable. Just let yourself come into a nice, comfortable position. So you can start to close down through the eyes. Just allowing yourself to really arrive onto your mat and into the space. You can take some sighs or yawns, some deep breaths out if that feels nice. Just allowing yourself to really drop into your body, drop into the space that you're taking up. And just becoming aware of how your mind is feeling, just starting up in the head. Just tuning into the way the mind's been working today. Have you been quite present, or have you felt that you've been sitting in the past or rushing ahead to the future? How have the thoughts been today? Have they been kind, gentle, or have they been a bit judgmental, critical? Have they been worrisome or fearsome? And again, we're not judging, we're just trying to tune into where we're at, where we're starting, what's our starting point, how are we feeling? And then just dropping a little bit lower down into the heart space. Noticing how around the heart space you feel physically. Is there any tightness or tension? You take a nice deep breath into the heart. Exhale through the mouth. And 2 more nice deep breath into the heart. Down mouth. And 1 more nice deep breath into the heart space. Exhale through the mouth. Just paying attention, noticing how the heart is feeling, any emotions that are sitting within the heart. There's a slight difference between the head and the heart. The heart is more expansive, more 5D, is looking out into more galactic, deeper trust, deeper faith in the expansion of all that we are, deeper knowing. Whereas the mind is more in the 3D world, more associated with our false identities. So just taking a couple moments to just really sit and feel into your heart space, noticing what's arising, if there's anything stuck or lodged there. Or maybe your heart feels quite peaceful, quite open. Again, using the breath in any way that feels good for you. Let the breath feel very natural, effortless, releasing, softening, cleansing. And then we can start to drop down into the lower 3 energy centers, into the solar plexus, just above the navel, the sacral just below the navel, and the root at the perineum. And just tuning into these 3 centers, which are associated now more into earth. From the heart up, we're looking more into cosmic. And we're dropping down more into our sense of our root support. And allow all of your attention to drop down into your root center, into the perineum. Right at the base of the spine, allowing your awareness just to reside in here. Where your seat meets the floor, the cushion beneath you. And just becoming physically aware of the space. Are you holding any tension here? Can you soften and relax? Feel like you're really sinking and melting into the support of the floor, the cushion beneath you. And then we want to send the breath all the way down into the root. So as you're inhaling, a nice slow deep breath comes all the way down energetically into the root center. And as you exhale, feel the breath slowly come out all the way through the nose and releasing. And as we drop down further into the root space, feeling more connected into our own sense of safety and knowing that you're protected and safe, so you relax and let go throughout your practice and throughout every day, knowing that you are always protected, always safe. So the root center is the color red, and Muladhara chakra. So if it feels nice for you to visualize, you can breathe in a vibrant red color, breathing it all the way down through the spine, right into the base of the spine, into the root. And then as you exhale, breathing out maybe a darker energy or a darker color, releasing anything that's not serving you, that's not making you feel safe, protected, that's taking you more into fear. You can release that with your exhales. Maybe breathing in red all the way down, or just feeling the energy of the breath traveling all the way down. With every inhale, just letting yourself drop further into this space, feeling more connected into the root space, into Mother Earth, and our sense of grounded connection, our sense of earthing, and really our sense of being human. So our physicality, our physical body, our home, physical home, safety in all aspects, and protected in all aspects. When we're really connecting to this center and we're balanced here, we really do feel that we are always supported and cared for. And we have no fear, we have trust and faith that we're always looked after. And like a mother would look after her child, Mother Earth always provides for us and supports us in as many ways as we can be. I was just taking a few more rounds of breath, really dropping down, noticing what is residing in your root space. Not judging, just acknowledging, becoming aware. Nice, just taking your last round of breath here. And then you can slowly start to flicker open the eyes, coming back into the space that you're in. We're going to move into the first shape, which is a wide knee child's pose. So working in to compress the top of the feet, we're stretching the ankles. We're also going to get a nice stretch into the calves, the shin bone, and into the groin. So if you just work your way to the back end of your mat, come in to sit down onto your heels. If that's a little bit too strong to sit onto your heels, you can use a blanket underneath your knees, just placing it onto the top of the calves. Or again, you can use it underneath the ankles to give you a little bit of support there if that feels more comfortable. Take your knees to as wide as feels good. You might need padding underneath your knees. And then you can start to pad yourself forward. It might feel nice to just rest down onto the elbows and move a little bit into the shape before you come to stretch out. We can place the head on the forehead onto a brick if that feels more comfortable. You can rest on your forearms if that's more comfortable for your shoulders. Or if you've got a bolster or a long pillow, you might like to use that just in front of you to rest onto, which is quite nice. If you hold on just around the edges, and you can let yourself really sink down. We're just going to be here for 3 minutes, so allow yourself to come into whichever position feels good. We want to come to an edge that feels comfortable. So we're working to stretch the tops of the feet and into the ankles. A compression is happening into the calves, just gently massaging out the calf muscles, stretching into the ligaments around the knees. And we're also working into the inner leg line, into the groin, and getting a nice stretch through the glutes and your lower back. As much as you can, let your weight just drop into the earth. Nice slow breaths. And you can really let your belly expand in this one. It's a really nice way to stretch the tissues all around the pelvis. If you breathe deeply and expand into the belly. So as we move forward in life, our feet and legs are the ones that carry us physically. So if we feel any pain, any discomfort, we have any issues in the legs or the feet, this is associated with our sense of feeling safe and supported in the world, and also our sense of being able to move forward in life. So when we can really pay attention to our feet, whether it's just placing our feet gently as we walk, wearing shoes that support our feet, maybe massaging the feet and the legs, when we really start to find softness, strength in the legs, this will reflect in the emotions and the mind, and we feel that we're confident and gently, mindfully moving through life. Whatever happens on the physical, it affects the mental and emotional bodies, and the other way around too. So our bodies are always talking to us. Bodies are always trying to show us deeper meaning to things. And when we just take a little bit of time to listen and pay attention, we learn so much. And we're just here for 1 minute more. If you've turned your face to one side, it might be nice to turn your face to the other, just to stretch the other side of the neck. If you feel that you need to come out of the pose, always listen to your body, especially practicing online. Make sure that you're listening to every signal your body's giving you. Try to keep your breath nice and relaxed. Or if you can go deeper into the shape, then you can start to maybe stretch deeper into it, maybe take the knees further apart. maybe remove any props that you're supported by. We always want to find a nice edge, so we're working into the depths of the stretch. We're working to just gently push into our edges to find where we can open and expand more. So whether that's physically or mentally, or maybe it's emotionally, we're always working just to figure out where our boundaries are, where our edges are, and gently open into them. Nice, so we're going to slowly make our way out of this pose after your next round of breath. Just take your time coming in and out of the shape. There's no rush at all. You can slowly bring your knees back to center. Just move any props out to the side. And then if you come over onto all fours, you can just gently pedal out through the legs, through the feet. Tuck in the toes under and stretching back one leg at a time. Or you can come into a down dog and take a stretch through the legs that way if that feels more comfortable. So as we rebound through each shape, we want to come into a place that feels a little bit more neutral, natural, and we're really looking for any shifts, changes in energy that happen in between each shape, each posture. Nice, just taking one more breath here. From here, we're going to come into a toe stretch just for 1 minute, just to allow the feet to open a little bit deeper. So you want to tuck all of your toes under, so you're really stretching open into the toes. If you come over onto all fours first and start to put the weight slowly back into the legs. And then if that feels comfortable, you can stay there and start to lean back so the head is in line with the sacrum. If that's a little bit too strong, just grab 2 bricks or a pillow, bring them in between the feet, and then you can sit down onto that. Or if it's still too strong, just working to all fours, toes tucked under and pushing back gently into the legs. So when we can stretch and open the toes, this allows all of the tendons to open in the feet. We're finding much more freedom in the feet. The feet has so many bones. I think it has 168 bones just in the feet. And if we can manipulate and move all those bones and allow them to be more free and fluid, we find so much more softness in the rest of the body. We can just keep the eyes closed if that's okay for you. We're here for about another 30 seconds or so. Just keep breathing and relaxing the jaw, relaxing the eyebrows. And also as we stretch open the toes in reflexology, this is the toes and the toe joints are associated with the head, the ears, eyes, nose, jaw, and the neck and shoulders. So if you have chronic neck and shoulder pain, it's quite often the toes need a good stretching. And that's just the last round of breath. Well done. Then we can slowly come forward, take a sigh of relief. You can bash the toes out and just bashing the tops of the feet on the floor. And then just give the toes a little wiggle. Hold on. Nice. So we're going to come over into a squat from here. So if you take your feet about hip width apart, you can come up through standing. And then just take some movements through the legs. So if you can't come down this low, that's perfect, just come up higher. You want to move. It might feel nice to stretch. It might feel nice to just rest your hands on the floor and sink into the stretch, or stretch forward. Just take a couple minutes to move into the hips, to find some nice space into the feet. I like to turn my toes out, so this helps to open up into the groin a little bit more. If you're finding it really difficult to balance or to feel comfortable here, come over to a wall space and you can just rest onto the wall and then rest either your legs here or you can come up a little bit higher and come to a nice flat spine. If you have bricks and you want to rest on a seat, you can take bricks here. Whatever feels good. You might like to bring your elbows on the inside of the knees to push. We're going to come, if we can, more into a still space. We're just here for a couple of minutes. Or it might feel nice for you to fold and reach and stretch and just relax over into it. Whatever feels good for you, just coming into your position. And then again, we want to try to really breathe down into the belly. So just noticing if the eyebrows or the jaw, the tongue is clenched, if the shoulders are clenching, if the toes are clenching. If you're finding it a little bit strong or you can't bring your heels down to the floor, you can grab a blanket or some cushions and bring them under your heels. Just here for about another minute and a half. So as you go through each shape, just notice what it brings up in your body. Notice what it feels like in the mind, sensations physically, any emotions or memories come up. Our bodies are really fascinating. They store so much information in different parts, and the more we can access these different areas, the more we can see what's going on internally. What story are we creating inside? Just last 30 seconds, well done. Keep breathing, keep finding space. Just taking the last 2 rounds of breath. Remembering if you need to come out, always allow yourself to come out as you need. You can either come down to a seat, or you can slowly let the head drop, lift the hips up and come into a wide leg forward fold, or you can start to come into a standing position, maybe a down dog position might feel nice. Just taking any movements that feel good. Each body shape is different, so just moving in a way that feels good for you throughout your entire practice. We're going to be making our way into some lunges for the next position. So when you're ready, just coming onto all fours. And then from here, we can take the right leg forward. Let's take a nice step forward. If you've got any issues in the back knee, just making sure that you're propping and padding. As much padding as you need. So from here, you can just start to move into the hips. So whether that's taking lunges forward and back, whether it's letting the knee drop out to the side and taking more circular motions around, whether it's pausing and stretching in a hamstring stretch or coming into more of a lunged position, or maybe it might feel nice to push up and away from your lunge. Just take a bit of movement into that hip, into the left hip flexor and the right hip and glute. Just noticing what's in this space. Notice how the foot feels, how it plants down. Nice, and then we're going to come into a static position. So you can either come hands opposite or hands on the inside. We're working to stretch this back quad, compression into the front hip, stretch down the back of this leg, and also a nice stretch into the toes as we push into that front foot. If it feels more beneficial for you to get a stretch from lifted, you can start to lift away, maybe bring your hands onto your thigh and push back. Or you can always use bricks either side of your foot. Just finding where you get the best stretch. So really trying to find your rooting in this front foot. Feel your connection to the earth in your right foot. Notice how it plants onto the floor. And really feeling how the legs respond to this shape. Where do you feel restrictions, any pulling sensations, tightness? Is there any way you can breathe more fully into? Just here for about another minute and a half. Maybe it feels good for you to come into a slightly different position. If your back leg needs a little bit more support, you can always bring cushions to the front of the leg. Again, try relaxing through the jaw, the tongue, the eyebrows, the breath. Just paying attention to where your mind is. Gently draw it back to your body, back to the present moment of where you are now. Just taking last 2 rounds of breath. And then we're going to transition from here into Sleeping Swan. So if we just start to take the right foot over to the left side of your mat, I've used a bolster underneath my hips. I'm going to let the right knee drop down to the floor. And then I can bring my hands down to the floor. So we want to, as much as you can, feel a nice level, flat feeling across the back of your pelvis. And if you feel that this is too strong, you can let all of the weight come onto your right hip. Bring the left leg round a little bit. Keep it in the front leg, the front shin parallel to the top of your mat. And then you can start to bring your body weight onto this right thigh. Then that's going to give you the same stretch in the hip, but it's not affecting the pelvis. You're not twisting or turning into the sacrum, SI joint, but you're also getting a nice stretch into the glutes. If that feels okay for you and you want to come a little bit deeper into the stretch, you can work to remove any props underneath you and just take your right leg straight back, your left leg straight back. Your right leg is going to come under the body. If it feels nicer for you to get more of a stretch out of the pelvis, you can lift up. Or if it's too strong, still you can work to come down onto your back into figure 4. So you want to bring your right ankle over the end of the left thigh and just work to gently push that right knee open with or without the use of your hand. And if you want to then increase it, you can start to draw that left leg into the body, maybe hold around the back of the thigh without stretching the shoulders off of the mat. Don't want an arch in the neck either. Just trying to let the body sink down into the shape wherever you are. Let the pelvis feel really heavy. We're dealing with gravity and solidity in the root center. So really allowing yourself to connect into your gravity, your center of gravity. Allowing yourself to feel the solidness, the heaviness, firmness of your body. But also to allow yourself to really melt into and surrender into gravity. Let your muscles release any gripping or holding. Let your mind release any gripping or holding. Just here for another 30 seconds. If you're on your back, you can gently release the foot, release the leg, take some knee sways. Before you make your way up to your seat, take your time. If you're on your front, in a prone position, slowly allow yourself to come up onto your hands. Lift up the back knee, shift it in, and then slowly slide your right leg back. Maybe grab the foot and slide it back. If it feels nice to you to come lay on your front, you can lay down. You might want to take some stretches in down dog or into all fours. Any movements that feel nice, allow yourself to just shift through these spaces in your body. Coming into a more neutral position. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back into a lunge on the left leg. So taking your left foot forward. And again, padding up. If you need any extra props, just grabbing whatever you need. So we want to try to find balance in the body. So if this side feels, actually I need to come lower down, actually I don't need the support, maybe that feels better if I lift up. We can start to take a little bit of movement first into the hip, taking any lunges forward and back. Taking maybe circles around that front knee, maybe letting the knee drop out to the side. Maybe bring your hands inside the feet to move. Maybe coming up and pushing back. And then we can start to come into a more static position. So if you're finding any props that you do need, just allowing yourself to come into your chosen position on this side. And trying to find as much length in your spine, so lifting out of the pelvis. We're letting the legs, pelvis, the feet feel nice and heavy, grounded, dropping into the earth. And really finding stability in this front foot as you push off of the earth. Notice how your foot connects into the earth. Can you spread your toes wider? Can you feel more light through the foot? Is there any differences on this left side to the right? Just here for about another 30 seconds on this side. When you're always trying to find as much pausing and waiting and finding a more stationary position. But if you ever feel that you need to add a little bit of movement or change position, this is how we're finding more mindfulness in our practice. So always listen to your body, what it's asking of you. And the more we can do that on our practice, on our mat, the more that translates into our everyday life, the more we start to listen to our intuition, to our body's guidance, to what we need in every moment. So wherever you are, we're going to start to make our way into Sleeping Swan on the left side. So we can transition the left foot over to the right side of the mat, shine the foot to the side, and then the knee's going to drop down to the floor. Again, you can stay here with a prop underneath your hips. You can lift up. You can come down over the front leg. It might feel good for you to move any props out of the way. And come down to the floor. Maybe it might feel nice for you to bend the back leg, shift the weight onto your left hip, and then bring your body weight down over your left leg. Or again, it might feel nicer to come to transition onto your back. So this time, right foot comes to the floor, left ankle rests on the end of the right thigh, and we're working to gently push that left knee away and open into the groin, stretching groin and the glutes. If you want to increase that stretch, you can bring the right knee into the chest, trying to keep the shoulders down, the neck nice and long, and the heart space open. Really let your pelvis drop into gravity. Allow yourself to feel held. Just here for the last 30 seconds. Keep breathing. Keep showing up for your body, acknowledging what is in there, what is coming up for you. Keep using your breath to expand, cleanse, to release, to surrender. And then if you're on your back, you can slowly let your left foot come to the floor, your right foot to the floor. Take some knee sways. If you're on your front, gently make your way up onto all fours. Slowly take your time to come out, and then take any movements that might feel good for you. Taking a little bit longer in this rebound, let yourself come into a nice neutral position. Take as much movement or as much pause as you need. We're just here for about another 5 breaths. Okay, just take your last round of breath, and then we're going to make our way into saddle, which is a lot of people's nemesis. So we'll just take this one as it feels comfortable. So ideally, you want to have your sit bones on the floor. Your feet are going to be just on the outside of your hips, so your feet are next to you, and your knees are edging in towards each other. If they feel more open and comfortable there, you can do that. We're working to stretch the quads, so it's quite a strong stretch, but we have just worked in lunges, so it should be okay. And I'm going to suggest to bring a stack of pillows behind you, or if you've got bricks and a bolster, you can set it up like I have, and then we can work to just lay down over the bolster. So this is not as strong a stretch if you want to work a little bit softer. If this is already too much for you, it's fine. We can work. We can work on our front in a prone position, just taking the body down. You can make a pillow with the forearm and then just take one foot in at a time. So we want to hold around the ankle and pull the foot as close into the glutes as we can, and you're pushing your hips down to the floor, and then your head can rest. I'll let you know when to switch halfway, or if you want to increase the stretch and you'd rather more of an active stretch than a supported, you can come into full saddle. So you come down to your elbows, your knees are bent, feet beside your hips, and then you can work yourself slowly down to the floor. So just take whichever position feels good. I quite like to use a brick to support underneath my lower back. That feels really nice for me. So if you want to take any props to support you, please feel free to. We're going to be here for about another 30 seconds for the people that are doing one leg at a time. As you move into a new shape, just acknowledging what's sitting in this body part, what is coming up for you. If you've got one leg bent in and you're on your front, switch legs, switch arms. Okay, for about another minute and a half. If you're laying on your back and it feels nice to take your arms overhead or outstretched, you might feel good. If not, arms are just whatever feels comfortable. Just here for about another 20 seconds. If you need to come out, feel free to come out slowly. If not, just waiting for another 3 breaths. So on our next exhale, if you're on your back, we're going to slowly hold on to the feet or prop yourself onto your elbows As you exhale, your chin is tucked into your chest. You're going to use your core strength to slowly roll you up. If you're on your bolster, gently pushing onto your hands, then coming up. If you're on your front, you can just relax your leg and lay on your front. Maybe bend the knees and take some knee sways. And then if you're on your back, again, coming up onto all fours. Just taking any movements that might feel good. It might feel nice for you to come and lay flat down onto your front, and then again, take the knee sways if that feels good. Nice. From here, just take your time. We're going to come up, taking a little stretch through a forward fold. So come in to legs outstretched in front of you. You might like to use a blanket or a pillow underneath your sit bones if that helps you to let the pelvis, you want to feel that you're sitting kind of off the edge, and then that'll tilt your pelvis forward, and then you can find a nicer length in the spine. If it feels good for you to use a support or a bigger pillow, you can use that. You might like to hug a bolster or a cushion and roll forward. Maybe it might feel nice for you to take some support underneath your knees, maybe padding up here. Or it might feel good for you to use no props if you'd like to come into more of a deeper stretch. You can let yourself maybe hold on to the feet. If you can reach for the toes, you might like to interlace your fingers through the toes and give your feet a little circling massage, flexing the toes, opening up into the feet. If this is a little bit strong for you, we're working the entire back line of the body. So from the heels, you might like to flex the feet to make it a little stronger. Or if it's a little bit too strong for your hamstrings, just take some prop to support behind the back of the knees. So ideally we're going to let ourselves fold forward and relax into it, and let the weight of your head pull the spine down to stretch the entire spine, the entire back line of your body. If that's a little too strong for anyone, you can always use a bit of extra support, popping up through the head, rubrics. So the more we can allow all of our leg channels to gently open, and we really feel that energy rising up from the feet, we feel it engaging into the legs, we feel fluidity into the legs, there's no stiffness, the channels are open and expanded, all the meridian lines are working, and we're working in the feet, the hips and the legs, we're opening into the kidney and gallbladder meridian lines, the spleen and stomach, and also the liver, and we're accessing all of these energy pathways. And when we can start to really open up these channels and we feel more connected into the feet, into the legs, we really start to draw up the nutrients from our roots, drawing energy from matter below us in the earth. And we really start to feel that strength from the earth beneath us. Start to feel the power in our bodies. We find more stability in all that we do, a good form, beautiful form. And when we feel maybe a little deficient, we feel scattered or ungrounded, maybe underweight, lack of connection, or if we have an excessive supply of energy coming from our root, we feel heavy, lethargic, maybe a little overweight, or too stuck in our ways. And we're just here for a couple more rounds of breath. Obviously, on the next round of breath, you can slowly start to lift yourself up and out of the forward fold. And we're going to come into a Shavasana of our choice. So you can either just come to lay flat on your back, or it might feel nice to I'm giving you a couple of options here for your Shavasana. It might feel nice to rest your feet a little bit higher, or maybe bring some support under your knees and take your legs out long. You could also come into a butterfly position. So the soles of the feet together, the knees are apart. Maybe the legs are supported by cushions, or the knees or hips supportive. You might also like to take yourself to legs up the wall. So you just maybe bring a blanket next to a wall space. You want to bring your hip up to the wall, and then you can slowly slide your legs round. Try shift your hips as close to the wall as you can, and then you can rest your legs up the wall. Might feel nice to take your arms long, and it can either be legs straight or legs wide, or maybe even a butterfly up the wall. Whatever position feels good for you, just finding as much space in your spine and your legs, finding a nice expansion through your upper back, through your chest. Taking a nice deep breath in, sighing out through the mouth. Another nice deep breath in and sighing out through the mouth. And with each exhale, let your body drop down further into the support of Mother Earth, the floor, the mat beneath you. Feeling heavy, grounded, comfortable and safe. You can allow yourself to really sink into gravity, feeling the heaviness of your body, allowing all of your muscles to let go of their holding, of their work, and to feel deeply held, deeply nourished. And really allow your breath to feel effortless, feel expansive and light. And as you inhale, breathing into every single atom, every cell, every fibre of your entire body. And as you exhale, allowing anything that's not serving you, that's weighing you down, that's pulling you into fear or pain, just to release out of your body, your entire body with your exhale, and sending it down into Mother Earth to act as a compost, a fertilizer for her to use and transform into something more beautiful, and turning all of the negative into positive fuel for the goodness. Nothing is wasted. Our energy is only moved and transformed. Allowing yourself to become 10% more relaxed, more heavy, more held as you surrender your entire body and your mind into the support that holds you always. Feeling yourself deeply rooted, a being of planet Earth, knowing you're meant to be here. You're safe, protected, accepted and nourished by the earth. I will never have this version of me again. Let me slow down and be with her. Allowing yourself to slowly come back into the space, back into your body. Just taking some movement, some deeper breaths, maybe turning the head side to side, stretching the hands, the feet, the ankles, the wrists, the arms, the legs, stretching the torso and the spine, maybe taking a full body stretch or bringing the knees into the chest. Taking whichever movements feel nice for you to come back into some bigger movement, and then you can slowly, when you're ready, make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Just taking your time, keeping your eyes closed if that feels good, keeping your energy in. And we can just bring our hands up into Anjali Mudra Namaste at the heart space, resting the thumbs to connect into our heart. Finding your sit bones, feeling your seat connected into the earth. Feel a deep connection to Mother Earth. Feel softness, heaviness into the pelvis and legs as you root down and lifting up through the spine, through the heart, into the crown. As you energize and gather up all the nutrients, energy, support and love from Mother Earth, bringing it into your system and utilizing it to bring health, vitality into your entire being. Taking a nice deep breath in, flooding all of your cells, and exhaling, releasing, allowing the breath to feel cleansing, purifying. And bowing your head down to your heart, offering gratitude to Mother Earth for all that she supplies for us, all that she gives in abundance without ever asking for anything in return. And she's always offering us so much love and protection, guidance if we tune in, and so much abundance. Allowing ourselves to receive all of that from a mother. Allowing that to really filter into our heart, into our mind, and offering gratitude to our bodies for all that they provide for us too. Everywhere they take us, all that our bodies enable us to do in this world. And may we bring love, peace, harmony, and happiness to all that we meet. For that is what we feel within our own selves. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone.